So friends, presence. Presence. We dedicate our practice with the idea that presence ripples out into the world and touches other people, and it brings beautiful people into the space. Wow. How cool is that? Alrighty. Alrighty. So welcome one and all to all of our human friends and our feathered friends and furry friends and scaly friends. Um, May all of our friends, seen and unseen, come into this practice with warmth and welcome. I'd like to set the intention of our practice today with a sentiment of metta. Metta is loving kindness. And I like to read these sentiments as a way of, channeling the mind, having something to come back to consider. And so, this one's a bright one. Okay. And it's got one word on the back which you can't read, but it says gaze. This particular sentiment is, and that word, to gaze, is my word for the year. And my intention for the word gaze is to remember to turn my gaze inward and to remember to find the beauty and the magic and the awe of gazing toward the subtle. And so we'll bring the spirit of gazing to our practice today as we explore the theme of forgiveness. I invite everybody to find a posture in the body that feels at ease. And if this means lying down, please do. For 2 months, we are going to be exploring the corners, the nuances, the complexity of this word forgiveness. We walk around it, we speak about it as if it is the easiest thing to do. And yet we know something in the mind and in the heart knows this is a very, very difficult thing to do. And one of the challenges that many of us face is self-forgiveness. I have been bringing forward a practice I created, something called Passadhi. It means forgiveness to tranquility, forgiveness to peace. And it was deeply inspired by the monastic practice of forgiveness, which is a contemplative practice. It is a quiet practice, and it is something that is exercised in many monastic communities around the new moon once a month. And it is defined by 5 basic principles of practice. The first is to identify a regret. The second is to engage refraining and reframing. This is not about refraining from whatever behavior or action you did that you regret. It's more like refraining from treating yourself like a piece of shit, like talking negatively toward yourself, using that inner authoritarian, that inner mean-spirited, negative, biting, frankly, violent voice. So what we do is we allow a regret to arise. We look at it and we think, wow, that was unskillful. I was not skillful with my speech. I lost control of my tone. I threw out a bunch of heat. I projected a whole bunch of emotionality. I hurt somebody else's feelings. That happened. We have an inner voice that is so quick to get all over our case. And so the next thing is to refrain from entertaining that voice. You may even be so strong as to say, look, I can't let you in. I hear you pounding on the door, but I'm not going to let you in. I'm going to refrain from entertaining you at this time. And I'm going to reframe my inner voice. And that voice is going to speak to me, not making excuses, not trying to let me off the hook, but just giving me encouraging sentiments. Julia, you are human. Julia, you have the capacity to react from confusion. Julia, this is an opportunity for you to mature and grow, and you can do hard things. The next step in in the Passadhi practice is to work with remediation. And this is a way of kind of ritualizing what we're doing, ritualizing how we've noticed something that we've done that's unskillful. We really don't want to do it again. We want to have an intention to make sure that we continue to mature and grow. So we do something. Sometimes it's lighting incense. Sometimes it's chanting. Sometimes it is doing something kind for someone else. Some simple action that keeps us aligned with our good intentions and the practice of opening this good heart. The fourth practice is a resolution. We are really setting a tone and intention. We are making a determined decision. I am going to put forth additional effort to improve my skill. When I'm activated, when I'm angry, I am going to determine to not be so unskillful next time. And the fifth practice I've thrown in there because it's a way of remembering that we have to do this over and over again. And this is the practice of being open to repetition. We have to repeat this practice many, many times. We're not here to get it perfect. We're here simply to practice. So today, what we're going to do is the third practice, which is to offer remediation. And what I'd like to do for us is guide us in chanting. And we're going to chant the Buddha's chant, which is very, very easy to hear. I'll be chanting it many, many times. You can chant if you want to. You can simply receive it. Chanting is a wonderful way to concentrate the mind. The words that I'm going to be saying, the words are Tagata Om Muni Muni Maha Munie Soha. It means basically, O wise one, great sound of the universe, sage of all sages, I honor you. I have chosen this particular chant, friends, because no matter the stories of the Buddha, no matter the legends, the mythologies surrounding this human figure that lived over 2,500 years ago, there's a wise truth that continues to emerge, which is for me that Siddhartha Gautama was a real human being. He, like me, had this capacity to seek pleasure and avoid pain. And in that constant and incessant seeking pleasure and avoiding pain, he suffered until one day he decided to not do anymore. And he spent time understanding himself, turning an inward gaze, looking at all of the causes and conditions of his suffering. And he found ways to address them, to minimize his suffering, to keep his heart open, to keep his mind open to being joyfully surprised. And then he dedicated his life to be of service, to alleviate the suffering in others. Each of us has the capacity to do that. Each of us already does. Allow a regret to arise, and may this be a simple regret to work with. A phone call you forgot to return. A meeting you accidentally blew off. Maybe driving along into an errand, you flipped someone off who cut you off. Maybe there was someone who kind of cut you off a little bit and then you didn't let the next person merge because you were feeling all pissy about being cut off. Some unskillful human thing that we all do. And then notice how you're talking about yourself. Notice the tone and the energy, and see if you can bring in another voice. See if you can bring in a peacemaker. I have this whole new spiritual practice that I think I'm going to call from ugh to ooh. So that's what I want you to be thinking about. All that uggy, oh God, I can't believe I did that. I'm such an idiot. There I go again, ugh, 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 to ooh, what was this all about? What can I do differently? I can do hard things. I'm amazing. And see where that leads you. And let's play with that for a few moments of silence. And then we'll enjoy honoring the Buddha that lives as each of us. Taya tao muni muni Mahamuni Soha Tayata Om 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 Muni Muni Mahamuni Soha. Okay. All righty. Let's go ahead and end our beautiful practice with a dedication of merit. And I'd like to bring forward, I was cleaning up one of my messes in my house, and I came across this wonderful, it's part of a wonderful prayer from Shantideva, an 8th century monk, philosopher, master practitioner. And Shantideva's contribution to the world was the creation of the way of the Bodhisattva. And the Bodhisattva is a person who intentionally returns to this life as an awakened being to heal and transform and awaken, help others on their journey to awaken. And we are here to practice, to transform ourselves, but we're also here to take that practice, that healing and transformation out into the world, in a world that's so desperate for it. So we dedicate all of the goodness that was received here today well into the depth of our being, so that it radiates out, it ripples out into the world, and our presence alone becomes a healing entity for others. All beings know pain and confusion. I vow to bring ease and clarity. The ways of delusion, rejection, and diminishment are endless. I vow to be spacious for healing and transformation. The paths of truth are infinite. I vow to joyfully devote myself to their realities. Awakening to the wholeness of life is a sacred purpose. I vow to embody it. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Thank you, friends, for your beautiful, beautiful practice. And may you find clarity and inspiration in unexpected places, even in a hot dog.